School time again. School is back in session. All the kids, whether it's in primary all the way through high school or college, university, whatever you wish to call it, furthered learning adult education. It's all back in full swing. And to that end, students that once had free time to do as they pleased were given leave to conduct themselves in a manner that maybe was less than responsible, as long as they showed back up when everything started again. So here we are, a brand new school year, a new chance for learning, advancement, academic prosperity, or in the case of our protagonist here, Mr. Isaac McKnight, potentially another year to piss it all away and continue to do nothing with his life as he's done up until now. As it is the weekend, classes are out of session, Isaac will get an email on his student email account from one of his professors. The email simply says, need to see you, need to talk about your course selection. Signed, Professor Williams.
Uh, First time he's actually gotten that correspondence. So he is going to. He doesn't really agree with Isaac's previous dress style, as it was too wasn't formal enough for his environment, and what was indicative of what he would have done. But so with this, he has pretty much thrown away most of the clothing that he's had, and in lieu of a new wardrobe, nothing too expensive, but just something that is more conducive of a young professional. Um, Slacks instead of jeans, uh, less t-shirts, more button-ups. Something that's more business casual would be a better word. So he gets dressed, grabs himself a fresh shower, and makes himself, presentable, and makes his way towards Professor Williams.
As he makes his way in, there are scant few people in the building at this time of day on this particular day. People that are coming and going are all individuals of might be taking weekend classes or using the facilities to get a head start on their class load this year. Regardless of the reason, Mr. McKnight comes along the lecture hall to where Professor Williams' Medicine 101 class is, where it's located. As he comes in at the top of the lecture hall, there is the obvious various paintings of Hippocrates and various other historical figures throughout the years. And as he makes his way down into the pit, past the podium, past the screen to where his office rests, he'll see the good Dr. Williams standing in front of bookshelves with a clipboard in hand as he's going over some, looks to be maybe that he's building up a lesson plan.
He will knock on the door before going in. Professor?
Isaac, as he turns around, he gives you a look that strikes a chord with you that well, speaks to your relationship with him as far as the past two previous years. With Dr. Williams, it's been the first year he was accepting, or at least the first semester accepting and kind-hearted. But as Isaac continued to waste everyone's time with his antics out of school, it became quite clear that the professor had little time to even really give you notice. The second year that you took this course, he didn't give Isaac the attention that he gave other students. Once it was clear that he was still set in his own ways, he would always pass over Isaac as though if he were just there as a some sort of discussion piece or the plant that you might have in the corner that's always there, but you don't necessarily do anything other than give it a little bit of water every now and then just to make sure that it doesn't actually wilt and die. This year, he gives you a look that seems to be annoyed and despondent as he simply gestures to the chair on the other side of his desk. Why don't we have a seat, Mr. McKnight?
Certainly takes a seat.
He'll pick up a file and open it up, look into it. Isaac McKnight, once again I find you in my class. Once again I find you setting forth to be, as you said before, a doctor. As I first told you, it's definitely a noble profession, one that I can appreciate any student undertaking.
Indeed.
You, on the other hand, seem to what want to claim the prestige of being called a medical student. You come into my class late, you don't complete any assignments, and your test scores, while they show a basic understanding, they show a real lack of effort of application. He'll sit down. I have a very simple question.
Oh,
Why are you wasting my time?
Isaac would sit right up and give him a very piercing gaze, almost as if he is searching for an answer, trying to see if this was a rhetorical question or was he actually asking him a question.
Roll perception empathy.
It's diff 4. So I guess that would be. Okay.
It's a bit of both, actually. With 3 successes, you can tell that his motivation, at least that you can tell, seems to be earnest in the fact that he is either A, done with you, or B, trying to get your ass in gear. One of the other. You can tell that he actually does seem to look at you as a member of his student body, but at the same time, if you're going to be the same Isaac he's seen the past 2 years, he's done, and he's going to just remove you from the class if possible.
Professor, As he looks directly at him, he adjusts himself and takes a deep breath. It is my wish to be a doctor because I wish to save people. I want to do the very best that I can. And I realize that I have squandered away your time. And for this, sorry doesn't really seem to cut it. However, I will say that you haven't given up on me since I started here at university.
I am paid an exorbitant amount of money to lecture children to see if they have what it takes to be doctors. So,
No, I mean the fact that you're still willing to meet with me on the weekend. It shows that you still see some type of promise in me.
he
So,
quirks a brow. He quirks a brow, but there's not too much beyond that. You want to make a perception empathy.
sure. Bloop.
You know that when someone says something to you, like when they call you out on something, or they're kind of stating why you're doing something, or why you're doing this or that, and it's actually a better reason than what you might have said or what you've told people?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the expression you get from him.
Okay. So, Professor, I want to do my very, very best, and I believe that you have both the knowledge and the skill to help me reach my aspirations.
Isaac, I'll be real with you.
Please do.
We've had this conversation once before last year about midterm when it was very clear that you were falling into old habits. You did make a concerted effort at the beginning of the year, but your grades here and everywhere else fell off within, what, 2 months? Maybe three? I've been down this road with you before. And honestly, I wonder if this is just another vain attempt at trying to. If this is a vain attempt to try and right yourself, or if you're actually sincere this time.
Sincerity is only achieved when one goes through a real hardship and actually sees the failing. And I believe I have firmly seen my failing. And here I am again, still here, still wanting to aspire to that dream. And I'm not above a little bit of humility when I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, that I've messed up. And you have the skill to help me to aspire to that dream.
He seems to mull over for a second, but his face hardens a bit. And he's simply going to pull something out from his desk, and he slides over a paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already filled out, and it's already signed. And it has your name on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a formal request to drop a student. I'm afraid this year I don't have time to find out if you're sincere or not, even if you do seem so now, here in September. I've got a lot of students coming through that need as much time and dedication as they have, as I can offer.
ST.
Yes.
to activate Lower Torment.
Roll your
Um,
faith.
can you allow it to manifest naturally?
Human beings, as long as it's not something like wings, if it's something subtle, you can bring it forth. They don't have supernatural awareness; they can't tell. Now, if you pop wings,
Well,
we'll
no.
we'll have words.
All right, so okay, I'll spend a point of faith.
All right, so you want to invoke Lordly Mane?
Yep,
Okay.
and I will try to impress my sincerity with a charisma charisma expression.
Go for it.
That is. Let me see if I'm rolling all right. 12, that's, I believe that's 8 dice at diff there.
All right.
Point of willpower.
Okay. Well, there we go. I'm gonna roll this person's willpower to see how well he can resist. Not well. Okay, so 6 successes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many?
Oh, 7 successes for you.
8 willpower.
Yeah. Well, you have 8 dice, don't you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 9.
Yeah. So with 2 out of that, it would be 7 successes. Not
7.
that it really makes much a difference. Um, he'll seem to mull it over.
Please, Professor, help me. Help me help myself. And only you can do that.
I'm going to make something very clear to you. If you're late once, if you miss an assignment once, if you blow a quiz or an exam due to lack of studying, and I know the difference, I've been doing this for long enough, you're gone. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
He'll take the drop request and put it back in his desk. And he'll stand back up and he'll not say anything or not look at you, but he's like, as he puts his hand up and sort of waves you off, he'll say, "You can go." And roll me a perception alertness difficulty 8.
2 successes.
You notice that on his hand
Mm-hmm.
there is a tan line on his ring finger.
He turns back around. Professor? Um, I know this isn't my place. Is everything okay with you?
He'll close the book, look at Isaac. Everything as well as it can be right now. Why do you ask?
He is going to look at him and say, there was a spark when I first met you, kind of a glimmer in your eyes, kind of a a bout of courage when you spoke, when you addressed the class. And it made me truly believe in myself. And that's not there anymore. You seem cold and distant. I mean, I know it's not my place, but you, there were terrible things happening in my life, but whenever I went to your class specifically, I always felt that at least someone cared. Even when you used to scowl at me when I kind of blew a quiz or a test, it was never in a how dare you kind of way. It was more in I'm disappointed in you and you know you can do better.
Make me a charisma empathy to send that one home.
Ugh, goodness. All right, still different. Willpower. 4 successes.
Hmm. Okay. It's not really any of your business, but my wife and I are going through the custody stage of my divorce. And she is trying to contest custody to retain sole custody of the children.
Professor, I know that, again, I apologize. This isn't my place. But you're a good man. And you have sincere faith in even somebody, even a wretch like me, who often came to class strung out on X, Y, and Z. If you can still see promise in me, then I think that your wife may be mistaken. That you indeed, if this is the kind of like expression of love and devotion you show to somebody that you don't even know, what more are you giving to your children? I think you're a really stand-up person.
I don't think that the issue has ever been with the devotion I've shown to my children,
Mm,
or I don't think she's ever questioned the affection I have for her. The issue comes down to her needs, her wants, and me being unable to fulfill them because of my career.
Professor, you save people. You, every person in this world has a light, has a gift, has a talent. If someone can't see that potential in you and is so absent from that to see the good that you're doing, what more do I have to say?
Well, Isaac, that's the crux of adult relationships is it becomes much more complicated, and I don't think she has an issue with me as a doctor. I don't think she has an issue with what I do for a living in theory. I think that her issue is that she wants more than I can give without letting my work suffer. And considering what I do,
What more can you give?
nothing.
I don't think that's true. As he looks at him, I think that it hurts.
I've never had the ability to express to her why my job means as much to me as it does.
Well, how about this? The way you are able to express to me down through the years, down through the years, how important an education is, and that how noble a profession teaching is, and how noble medicine is in itself. How, rather, why don't you just show her? Perhaps it's not something so much that can be spoken. Perhaps your actions could do more. Oftentimes, our words fail in comparison to what we can truly achieve. Charisma expression.
Yeah, go for it.
Perhaps it all it takes is someone telling you how much it's worth, how much how how it feels to truly be fulfilled when you're like saving a life, saving a person.
Mr.
It,
McKnight, I really do appreciate your words,
you know,
but at this point, her contesting custody, it ruined anything that might have been there. All I'm worried about at this point is my children. She is. Shouldn't even be telling a student this, but she is dead to me for doing that. And right now I'm using everything I have at my disposal to ensure that she cannot take my children from me, as
well,
she intends to.
well then, if this is how you truly feel, then why don't you put that passion, that that drive for your profession into someone who has the potential to save the world? Someone like me.
He looks confused as he just looks up at Isaac.
What, you don't think I can do it?
Up until a few weeks ago, Mr. McKnight, you were, for all intents and purposes, a strung out college student getting along on mommy and daddy's money.
Well, that's what happens when
Somebody with a lot of wasted potential and someone who had clear intentions, but not the drive to fulfill them.
mommy and daddy gave up on me. You didn't. Mommy and daddy sent me to college because they didn't care.
Okay.
So what I'm asking you Professor Williams, is to allow me to reach a dream that I am very passionate about. Believe in me. Charisma expression. This is like my best pitch. I don't know what else to do.
I don't think it's an issue of charisma and expression at this point. I think what you're asking for is you're asking him to invest faith in you. It's
Okay.
very direct, which means I think we're going to need something a little bit more than what you're peddling currently,
Okay.
i.e., roll them bones for your APOC form.
So just roll my straight faith.
Um, I would highly recommend it. Yes, invoking your APOC form.
Lord Jesus. What's the difficulty?
Standard.
I hate you so much, man. Sorry.
All right, you can invoke your low torment form.
Why is this happening? Why are you making this so hard?
Because you're building a thrall, not
Yes,
not speaking to a room, so to speak. You're
this is harder than I have to work for Valerius. I hate you so much.
245 XP.
Fuck off.
All right, so you're popping your torment form.
Low tournaments.
All right, Elijah, what are you saying as you gain that fiery halo as your clothing harkens back to a bygone age and your wings spread to their full length? And I need to roll his willpower, difficulty 8.
Watch him pass the fucking. Nope. Alright.
He drops to his knees. He doesn't enter full on revelation, but he looks up at you, Elijah, just his eyes wide and just looking at you in perhaps a bewildered amazement, if not bordering on the slightly horrified. And go ahead and make your sales pitch.
Mr. Professor Professor Williams, allow me to be that for you. Allow me to be a person that you can believe in. Allow me to instill within you a fiery courage, the courage that can move mountains, the ones that will give you the drive and the passion not only to save lives, but to touch individuals out through the ages, to be able to not only instill a sense of bewilderment, wonder, breathing the breath of life into individuals. Allow me to help you in that. Allow me to instill within you something that will forever leave a mark on this world. You have a potential, Professor Williams, something that I haven't seen occur in you that harkens back to the days of Daniel and the lion. So much adversity, but yet you're still pushing on, yet you still have time for me. And that, my friend, is what separates strong willed individuals and sheep who cave at the slightest issue and problem. Let me be that voice that whispers into your ear and tells you to grow. You do have that potential, Professor Williams.
What are you?
I already think that you know exactly what I am. You never know who you might be entertaining in your classroom, Professor Williams. You have a task, a very noble one, and I want to see you fulfill that.
Can you get me my children?
I will give you the best thing I know how, the courage to conquer any obstacle.
And what would you ask in me in return?
Just simply believe in me.
He swallows hard. His mouth has gone dry.
As Elisha holds out his hand,
And the good professor will put his hand out and grab a hold of Elisha's.
firmly submitting the deal.
How very Faustian.
It is.
And so cements the legacy of Isaac McKnight's, or should I say, Elijah's first thrall.
But that he allows his apocalyptic form, his angelic form, to slowly wither and go back inside of himself. Trying to tuck that light away. Too much
And
time.
I think as the two gentlemen speak, that may be a good place as any to call that a scene, as we hash out details of the nature of this deal in a more dots on paper sense.
That's on paper.
So thank you players for playing, thank you watchers for watching, and have a good night. And Anthony, you have the button.
I do indeed. Night, everybody.